Can't wait. I'm just going for the In-N-Out, to be honest, because everybody
Hmm.
says you've had it,
Everybody
right?
says that.
But is
I've
is
never had it.
you never had
We've
it?
been to California multiple times and we haven't had it. I know people are
Wait a
really
minute.
into it. I should try next time.
I
We
know.
always just Uber straight to the hotel and then don't leave. So
That's a good idea. If we're renting a car though, because we're gonna go to the Dodgers game one
yeah,
of the
you're doing
days.
other stuff.
Yeah, because I gotta see Chavez Ravine. I've always wanted to go there, and I figure if I'm going that far, because actually I've been to California. We drove out and I hiked in Yosemite once.
Oh,
God,
whoa,
that
cool.
was a long drive though. We stopped off in
Yeah,
Vegas. Whew, I'm
that would
never
be long.
doing that again. That was crazy drive. Anyway, so all right, let's talk about this. So this was postponed. So when the trip was when though? When did you guys get to go? Sorry, just make sure I get this real quick.
We went January of this year, January 2022.
22. Perfect. All righty. So and this show will come out, let's see, the 4th, so the 11th. 7-11. Oh, this will be the day everybody gets a free Slurpees,
Oh
probably.
yeah, free Slurpee day.
I hope so.
Good day.
All right. So let's see. Oh, hang it this. Sweet. And do you want to like share? Do you have like any social or anything that you want to share at the end of the show? Because I could do that if you want to.
Nope, I'm pretty
Okay,
boring.
good. Okay. Because I know some people do, some people don't. So that's why I never really ask because most people don't. So I just wanted because you're a tech
No, but
person,
that's a
you might
thing.
have
That's
something. I
yeah,
was like,
totally. If I was a good
okay.
tech person, I would have it. All my colleagues have it.
I was like, you're in Seattle, man. That's awesome.
Well, and I'm a researcher, so I publish papers. So most of my colleagues have this because they want to, and I'm like, nah. If someone wants to read it, they can Google it.
That is so cool. That is so cool. All right. Hey, Margie. Glad to have you here in the chat, you and Herschel, and hope you're doing well. All right. We're getting ready to record. This is going to be a week from Monday because we got a special show coming up for the 4th of July. Or July, as my grandpa used to say here in Missouri. He'd be like, it's July. My grandpa, it's July. Nope, it's July.
July.
Whatever. You're from Kentucky. Okay. So the good thing is 2117, and here we go. Welcome to episode 2117 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope your week is already off to an awesome start. I hope this is a great week for you here in the middle of July and that summer continues to treat you well. Of course, I am just back from Disneyland, settling back into the real world. It's going to be a rough transition, but hey, how bad can life be when you get to help people plan magical vacations? I'm pretty lucky to get to do that. And here on a Monday, get to talk about the place I just visited for the very first time, Disneyland. So today, very excited to head up to the Pacific Northwest, up to Seattle way, to speak with listener Jenna today about her Disneyland trip. Jenna, thanks for coming on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I've wanted to do it for a long time.
Glad to have you on the show. This is going to be a fun time. So, how are things up in Seattle?
Not too bad. We had some heat and now we're back to clouds. So back to the way everyone here expects it. So
Okay.
good.
So, I have something I didn't tell you this in the pre show, but this is very, very important. I don't know if you're a Seahawks fan, or possibly, maybe. No.
I mean, we're supposed to be, but we're Canadians. So.
Well, okay. So, well, you got to take good care of your quarterback up there because you now have our quarterback from Mizzou. You have Drew Lock because he was traded from the Broncos to the Seahawks for Russell Wilson. So just take
Oh,
good care
yeah.
of our former Tiger up there. Hope he and my dad works for the Rams, but everybody knows
Mhm.
I hate the Rams. So and that's a big rivalry. So please take them out of the playoffs this year. So I don't have to hear about
Gotcha.
that. My
Okay,
dad
we'll do. Yeah.
he got
It's
a Super
totally in
Bowl
my
ring.
control.
So, yeah, good. Okay. So I'm just saying, lots of stuff to take care of because you're in a very important part of the country for my, rooting interest. So no, that's awesome. So all right, let's jump into this though before we get into the trip report though, and tell us about your Disney fandom. Like, where's it come from? Like, where's it all start? And this is a little bit different because
Yeah.
lots of people we talk to are from East Coast. You're from Canada, so how's that all go?
Yeah, I'm from about an hour away from Detroit, on the border. So we didn't really grow up totally with Disney World, but we went once when I was 9, and I really liked it. But we drove down, kind of typical. So from Ontario, it's 24-hour drive. So we drove down. That took us 3 days. We only stayed for 3 days. We spent one day in each park. It didn't even have Animal Kingdom yet, and then we drove home. And my sister was like 16 and she was just too cool for it at that age. And
Yeah.
so, and my dad doesn't like heats, line tourists or crowd. So he stayed in the hotel room and would ride the monorail. That's what he said was his trip because we stayed at the Poly. And so my mom said, "We'll come back just you and me when you're 16," because like we actually liked it and wanted to have fun, and everyone was just complaining the whole time. Um, but then she ended up passing away, my mom, when I was 14, and we never went. And so when I had kids, I was like, I want to go to, I really want to take them to Disney. Like this mattered a lot to me, even though I'd only been once. I loved the movies. And, I remember seeing The Lion King like as a kid. And so we took them to Disneyland when they were 1 and 3. And then we were really hooked. So we've been trying to go every year since then. And it's like, it feels really special. Even though I was never at Disneyland with my mom, it feels like this family connection. So now that's kind of how we got involved. And then I started listening to your podcast a few years ago, and I started doing the runs. I've got my Princess Weekend half marathon shirt. So we're more into it now, but that's kind of where it started.
It always starts with something small, then all of a sudden you have 12 medals on the wall, and you're like, how did
Yep, there's my medals. I've
exactly?
got my mini backpack you guys talked about a couple weeks ago.
Ricky's wrong. She's crazy if she thinks 30% of the people at Walt Disney World carry those backpacks. I mean, it's a low what it's 1 to 2% of all guests. I mean, I'm just gonna stick with that because Loungefly wishes it was that much. If it was as
Mhm.
much as Ricky said, I'm buying stock.
I
Um,
mean, but then the people who do have them have like 30. That's
that's
what's
true.
crazy.
Now I didn't
Yes.
think about that. That throws off the numbers. You're right. The people that
Yes.
have them don't have one.
They
That
have a whole wall. I have 2, and I used to think it was crazy, and now I'm like, I should get more.
yeah. What's that they
Maybe
say about
there's
Is it Pokemon? They say you got to catch them all. I mean, is that what they do with
yes,
Loungefly?
yes, exactly. That's what they're going for.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So that's an awesome kind of tribute to your mom, though, that you took your family and kind of carried on that thing that she started
Mhm,
was going to take you.
mhm.
But it is ironic that your dad goes down there and like, okay, we're going to go to Florida. It's hot. Don't like heat. Don't like lines. Well, you got to wait in
Yeah.
lines. This is before there was no way to get around lines back then.
Oh,
But
no. He
how,
didn't leave the hotel room other than to go on the monorail. He made her take 2 little kids to the parks alone.
I got to say, though, I mean, if you're staying at the Polynesian and, if you can get away with it just to hang out at the Polynesian and ride the
Yeah,
monorail, I mean, your dad
not
kind
so
of was
bad.
winning. I mean, that's not
Yep.
terrible.
He liked the arcade, like, I think he had a fine time.
Don't feel too bad for him at this time. But so let me ask you this real quick about you kind of growing up in Canada. Like, how prevalent is Disney in kind of the pop culture? Because we know how it is here in the States, but I'd imagine it's
Mhm.
kind of similar. I mean, is this something that everybody's kind of wearing the clothes, watching the stuff on TV, like Disney Channel, all that kind of? I mean, I guess it's pretty
Yeah.
similar.
It's pretty much the same, especially where we grew up. We got, like, Peachtree TV from Georgia and all these weird TV channels because we were on the border. So it was very similar, and most people drove to Florida for March break. That was, like, very, very common. And then here, now that I'm on the West Coast, it's the opposite, right? Everyone goes to Disneyland, and people are like, "Oh, why would I travel across the country to Disney World?" So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's hop in and talk about your trip, which today is going to be, and we've had so many of these over the past like 2 years at this point. This is another one in the continuing series of this was a trip that was planned but was postponed due to COVID. And it did eventually happen. It happened this past January in
Mhm.
2022. But tell us about
Yes.
how this trip was supposed to happen first time around.
Oh, man. So for Christmas 2019, we gave the kids a trip to Disneyland. So I bought them the guidebooks, I got them matching family clothes, the whole thing. It was gonna be my son's first trip, got him a little onesie with his name and Mickey, and
Cute.
then it was for that spring. And so, of course, that did not happen,
I was gonna say,
and
I hope you didn't make him wear that this past January. Like,
I know, right?
I
He
have to
outgrew
wear this.
everyone outgrew their shirt. I outgrew my shirt over COVID. I was like, "Dang it." So, that sucked. And then, at first we thought it was just gonna be a couple months. I don't know if people remember that time. So, we kept pushing it
Yeah.
out a few months, but Disneyland stayed closed for, like, over a year. And so by the time we rescheduled it, I think it was the 4th time we rescheduled it for January 2022, my kids did not believe me. They weren't willing to save their allowance because they're like, "Mom, it's not happening. Like,
Well, I
there's
wouldn't
just no
either. I
way."
mean, I'm team
Yeah.
your kids. Like, I'd be like, this, yeah, whatever. I'm going down and I'm buying a toy. Yeah,
Yes, yes. They did not believe it at all. And it was even worse because the plan was supposed to be to fly home to Canada for Christmas and then fly from Canada to Disneyland. And our flight to Canada got canceled because of a snowstorm. So that whole trip got scrapped. So then they were like, there's no way we're going. They were just certain that like life was conspiring against us. But it did work. Like I even the night before I had a picture of all of our suitcases out and we were kind of like, do you think we'll go? I don't know. Like, is the airport gonna close again?
yeah.
But we made it. And so that was like super amazing. We were all so happy.
I would imagine though
Um,
that with something like that though, like the setbacks along the way, while frustrating as they were, and
yeah,
it's hard to believe now. I mean, it hasn't been that long. When you say Disneyland was closed for a year, like, I
yeah,
mean, my brain when you said that, like, my brain couldn't process that. Like, I can't believe, like, the Magic Kingdom was
yeah,
Magic Kingdom used to close for, like, a hurricane for, like, a half a day. It's just like,
yeah,
that's crazy, and it was closed for months too.
yeah.
Unbelievable times that we went through, but I would imagine too in the end, and we'll kind of at the end of the show, but it probably made it sweeter when you finally like were feet down in Southern California that this we're here.
Yes.
We
Oh
finally
yeah.
are here.
It felt so magical. Like I couldn't believe we were really there. Even just things like riding on a plane, that
Mhm.
seemed so foreign. So that was really great. I'll tell you, it's my father is here in the live chat, the one who said your dad sounds like a great guy. That's my dad.
That's awesome. I like that he's throwing his own
I told
comment.
him, hey, I'm on YouTube, Dad.
That's awesome. Shout out to your dad, Bruce.
Yes.
Nice. Nice. So tell me about the kids though, when you're getting the anticipation. So you mentioned like obviously this is their first plane ride, first kind of big trip. What was that like? Because with kids that age, I mean, every experience is magical. And they're going to Disneyland finally. I mean, they probably didn't believe you, but maybe they did.
Yes.
I don't know. Your mom. So what was that kind of whole travel to experience like with the kids?
It was pretty good. I think the hardest part was just the masks on the airplane, knowing that there was no way my then 2-year-old was gonna like actually do this. We thought, what's that gonna be like? But the travel was pretty good. The bigger kids had been on the planes before. They'd been to Disneyland before, so they knew they're at that age where the concept of having a tablet unlimited like freedom and the pop that the people bring by, they were like, this is perfect. I absolutely love planes. So they had a great time.
That's sad because those are two of my favorite things when I fly Southwest. Give me my
There you go.
iPad,
See? Yeah.
my
They're
Coke
like,
Zero.
"This lady,
Good.
she tells me I can have any pop I want, and my parents gave me this iPad. Like, this is awesome." They didn't even sit with us, like, because 'cause we're 5 people, so the me and my husband and my son were on one side, they were on the other side with a stranger. They were like, "It's cool, mom. See you later." They love it.
That's insane. That's crazy. I love it. I mean, but I just realized I'm like a 5-year-old because all I need is a soda and my iPad, and I'm good to go. Like, let's go. I'm ready to go to Florida. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
awesome. So, okay, so let's talk about you guys get there. What was the plan? Like, how long were you planning to stay? Where did you stay? How did that all go in January?
Yeah, so we had 6 nights at the Disneyland Hotel. Like you, we were doing it right. I'm very blessed to have a cast member friend. We've been friends since 5th grade. So she got us the friends and family discount at the hotel. So we always stay there. That's kind of our hotel. And yeah, we flew down in the morning, dropped our stuff at the hotel, and then took the monorail straight into the park the first day. We were just really eager to actually be there.
So talk about the hotel again, because I'm recording this one before going on my vacation, even though when this airs, I
Yes.
am just back.
Yes.
What were your thoughts? I mean, I'm so stoked. I mean, I'm most stoked about seeing Disneyland being on Main Street. That's it. But
Mhm, mhm.
close second is being at the Disneyland Hotel. I never thought I'd ever get to see this place. So what'd you think?
Yeah, the hotel is great. The hotel has lots of photos all over the place of sort of famous people who've been there over the years with Walt. So there's photos of all the presidents, and that's really neat. I love seeing that. At least pre-COVID, I don't know what's happening now, but the characters used to be there right around 11, 12-ish. And so they would be in the lobby. So you're not even in the parks yet. And you can meet, Chip and Dale. I love that. And then the pool area is so beautiful. It's like, you feel so tropical. It's got all the palm trees, and it's the only place you can get Dole Whip outside of the park. I know you're not a Dole Whip guy, but we are big Dole Whip people.
I'm
So
having
that's all we cared about.
Gotta have one for the Instagram. And I mean, I like
Yeah,
them.
that's
I
true.
mean, I'm a chocolate
There
guy,
you go.
but I mean, I won't turn down a Dole Whip. So
Yes. So you can get those at Trader Sam's and the Enchanted Tiki Bar. So yeah, it was awesome.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, cannot wait. Okay, so talk to us about though, because I love hearing the stories, especially with the families. So talk to us
Mhm.
about going to Disneyland Park, about California Adventure, about your meals, your times on the attractions, the shows, the character. Just tell us about all of it because we got like 20, 25 minutes. I want to hear the stories. Give us the stories.
So the first thing we did, like I mentioned, we took the monorail in, and that drops you off at Tomorrowland. And so in Tomorrowland, we went and rode the Autopia, which we had never actually ridden in our previous times. I think my older daughter had done it once, but it just happens to be the ride where it drops you off. And I was like, I don't care, like let's just get on a ride.
That'll
Um,
be me. That'll be me. So that'll
yeah,
be
I was like, whatever. And, we have our masks on, and I thought it would be kind of like, is it going to be the same? Is it going to be fun? Like, you have to have your mask. But it was so awesome. And I have a picture of my son and I with these masks on, and you can tell that we are smiling so big. Like, even though I was just like, we're here, we're in line. Like, I was so happy. And the kids were lucky too, because pretty much anything they wanted, I was like, yeah, okay, like, let's buy it. Like, I was game for every souvenir. Like, every treat. And my father had actually given them Christmas money for Disneyland. So even though they weren't willing to save for themselves, they had their own. So that was pretty great. So that was kind of the first thing we did. And then my kids don't know a lot of the bigger movies. Like, they haven't seen the Star Wars or the Marvel movies yet. They're pretty like easily scared. But we did hang out in Tomorrowland, and they loved the Star Tours. They thought that was so fun. That was their favorite ride. So we did that. We rode Space Mountain. The girls, they were 6 and 8. They rode Space Mountain. They rode everything. They rode the Incredicoaster.
Whoa.
They love,
You
yeah,
like
yeah,
kids.
they love it all. Like, my daughter first rode the Incredicoaster when she was 5, I think, because she's pretty
Oh my
tall.
gosh, that's pretty
Yeah,
awesome. That's crazy.
yeah, they're awesome. They're such awesome kids. They're willing to do everything. So they had a great time. And we had actually planned our trip to be right as Christmas was ending. So it was still Christmas. So Main Street looked really pretty, and all the lights were up. We did manage to get there that evening, the first night, so we could see the lights and see the tree, and that was all really fun.
Yeah,
So yeah, the
can
first day
imagine.
was
Yeah, I could imagine though, just being there Christmas. It just kind of, Disneyland would be beautiful, but I mean, just the bonus
Mhm.
of the Christmas decorations still being up. Awesome.
Yeah, it was so good. That was so good. And we did get our Dole Whip the first day, and then that night we even went to the pool. Like, we just packed that first day. I was so excited to go to the pool, play with the kids there, and then we kind of did like you often recommend. We went to the park first, then we came back for kind of dinner and a rest in the pool, and then we went back in the evening to get to see the Christmas decorations at night. So that was kind of our first day.
That is a heck of a
And
first day. That's
yeah, it
not
was so great. It was a great first day.
I'm like,
And then the next day we went to California Adventure, and my biggest thing there was I really wanted to see Spider-Man fly
oh,
across the
yeah, yeah.
buildings. Have you heard of this?
Apparently, I saw on social media like a couple weeks ago he
He
had an
crashed.
accident, like he
He
crashed
had
through
a
a
little
wall or something.
accident.
Yeah, so I'm a little
Yes, I
worried about
saw
him.
that. I'm hoping he's okay
Yeah, me
now.
too. I
But
am
it's
don't get hit.
Oh, it's phenomenal. You should see if it's running. It is the coolest thing. He talks to you, he jumps around, he does some somersaults, and then he flies across all these buildings, and then he comes down the building, the way a spider would, and talks to you, and you can get pictures and talks to all the kids.
That's
It
insane.
was just amazing. So we saw that, and then of course my son, he was in his Spider-Man sweater. He bought a spider bot, so we got pictures with that and pictures of Spider-Man. So that was really fun, and we spent that day in California Adventure. Then we did all the rides, and the characters were just sort of coming back. It was still like at a distance, but we got to meet a lot of the characters at a distance, which was fun. And then my middle child, Grace, she really wanted to go to Bing Bong's Sweet Shop. So you can check that out while you're there. It's
That's
at Pixar Pier. But she was so excited to be there that they gave her an I'm celebrating button saying, I'm celebrating being at Bing Bong's. Because for like 2 years, she just wanted to go back to Bing Bong. She loves this place. She has a Bing Bong stuffed animal. He's from Inside Out. I don't know if you've seen it yet. You have a daughter. You should really watch it. It's
I know
like
I
a
should, but
tearjerker.
I haven't seen. I'm terrible. I haven't seen hardly any movies since Rise of Skywalker. I've seen
Oh, yeah.
that's this. I've seen that movie and I've seen Top Gun Maverick. That's it.
I
Those are
know.
the last two
I
movies I've seen.
I saw you on Twitter or on Instagram with your "Because I Was Inverted" t-shirt, and
Yeah.
I bought it as a surprise for my husband because I thought that was so awesome.
Yeah, my
So that was
family
pretty
got that. Yeah, that was my Father's Day gift.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have the characters from Inside Out there, so we got to meet all of them and go to Bing Bongs. And then, the whole trip, people kept looking at her and being like, "Oh, is it your birthday?" And then they'd read it up close to like celebrating being at Bing. What does that mean? And we had to explain over and over. Oh, she just really likes the candy store. So we
That's
looked a
awesome.
little kooky.
I love stuff like that because I have a button that it's my most treasured I'm celebrating button. It's because it just says I'm celebrating on it. It says I flew. Because if you
Yes.
know the history of the podcast, I was
Yeah.
scared to death to fly forever and ever and ever. But eventually my back hurt bad enough that I realized I can't drive 14 and a half hours anymore. So
Yeah.
I decided I'm gonna have a few margaritas at the gate and we're gonna make this
Yep.
thing happen. I got on a Southwest plane for wine and dine weekend and we got down there and I went straight to the Hollywood studios and I grabbed a button and they're like, "Sir, what are you celebrating? Your birthday, anniversary?" I'm like, "Nope, I
Yep.
just flew." And they're like, they're probably thinking as they're writing this out. Yeah, like 12 million people fly here every year. Like, oh my God, shut up. Just fill it out, please.
Yes, I was the same way. I used to be afraid to fly. I actually won a scholarship once, and Google invited me to go to their campus to receive it, and I was like, "No, this that's okay. Like, will you still pay for my tuition if I don't come?" And they were like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I don't want to.
Oh, true,
I
true,
don't want to get on a plane."
true story. I mean, real quick, this has nothing to do with Disney, but real quick, when I was a teacher, I was given a scholarship to go to space camp for educators. But you had to fly to from St. Here's my nightmare. You had to fly from St. Louis to Atlanta because it was in Huntsville, Alabama, and they didn't have a big
Mm,
airport. So you had to fly from St. Louis to Atlanta, Atlanta to Huntsville, and then on the way home,
ooh,
Huntsville to Atlanta, Atlanta to St. Louis.
yeah.
And I was like, heck no, I'm not getting on that airplane. You kidding me? So I ended up giving it to my best friend who taught fifth grade across the hall. He was at
Oh,
my wedding. And so he's like all pumped up. He got to go. And then like 2 days later, I'm like, God, I've always wanted to go to space camp for my whole life. Like it was always the prize on all the game shows on
yeah.
Nickelodeon. Always wanted to go. And so I eventually wrote a proposal to our professional development head at the district, and they paid for my like tuition to go to space camp with him. But I was like,
Wow.
I'll pay for my gas and I'll drive. I was like, that's the trade off.
Yes.
My plane tickets. So we both ended up getting to go, and I ended up working there the next few summers. I loved it so much. But it was so funny that it was the exact same thing. I was like, I am not
Yeah.
flying. And so I gave it to my
Yeah, I was
buddy.
like, "Nope, that's okay."
Totally. I feel you. Okay, back to Disney though. Now, let me ask you about this though. This spider
Mhm.
bot thing after you saw Spider-Man, what's that all about?
Mhm.
That sounds fun. I got to
Oh,
know about this. Sounds like a little technical toy or something.
it is. It's a little toy. It's a spider. It has different suits if you wanna spend even more money. You can, like, make it look
Oh,
like,
wonderful. It's Build-A-Bear.
all different characters, right? Yeah. And it was really funny because outside the store, so it's at the web store, so that's right beside the Spider-Man ride, and the lady had them on display, and I said, "Oh, what do they do? Like, do they just move?" She's like, "Yeah, this is all they do." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, she was not selling it. And so we went inside and bought one because my son was 2 and he didn't care what they did. But it does all this cool stuff. It has a remote control. It shines a little light that's sort of like the Batman symbol, but for Spider-Man. And if you press a button, it self-destructs. It says self-destruct in 3, 2,
Oh,
1, and
man.
the pieces pop off. That's my son's favorite.
Oh,
And of
that's
course, when
hilarious.
you self-destruct it, you have to go through this like long series of steps to put it all back together. And we do that for him and hand him the remote, and he just presses that one button again and self-destructs it again. But we went outside and told the lady, I was like, it does other things. It's actually really cool. Like, you should be more excited because it was so awesome. So that's a fun toy that you can get. He still plays with it. It's
Maybe
pretty
she
cool.
thought there was like a limited quantity and she was trying to not
Yeah, she's
sell
like,
them
I don't
because
want to
like she
sell
was
too
trying to
many.
get one for like her son or something. Like at the end of the
Yeah,
shift or something,
maybe.
and she's gonna
Well,
get
it
it.
didn't work. We bought it anyways. It was so
I just
cool.
totally told Ryan took the one she wanted or something. That's because she had an angle or something. That's pretty funny. All right, so now I saw in your notes, so I want to ask you about this, and I want to hear some more of the stories. But this is your first time ever seeing Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
You're kind of a tech person. We've been talking before the show and
Yes.
all that kind of stuff, Star Wars. So when I walked into Galaxy's Edge, I couldn't believe it. This is at the studios in Florida, but what were your thoughts?
Oh, I thought it was so amazing. I wish we could see it again, just my husband and I, because the kids were kind of like, "Can we go back to the fun place?" Right? Like, they don't like Star Wars, so they didn't care. And I was like, "No, this time is for mommy and daddy. Like, we've done everything for you." Like, I don't think we even went to it until the second or third day. I was like, "We've done all your rides. We've gone to Bing Bong. Like, now it's mommy daddy time." And so they put up with it. But but I thought it was amazing. And I was trying really hard to focus. You know, it's hard at Disney anywhere with kids, right? Because you don't want them running off and you're trying to pay
Oh,
attention to
yeah,
them. But I
it's
was
bad to
trying to
lose your
listen.
kids. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We don't have the leash, so you got to really focus on the kids. But it has like, the way the sound changes and the
uh-huh,
the
yeah,
floor changes, like all these cool pieces of the design. Because I'm super interested in Disney and how they do the design and the design elements. So I was really trying to kind of like hone in on that, which was fun. But then when we were near the Millennium Falcon, that like blew my husband's like mind. He just absolutely loved that. Got pictures with it. He looked so excited, just like a little kid. He was
it's
really
unreal.
excited.
I mean, it's
It
like
is, it's
because
really, really amazing.
for anybody in our generation, like, it's just you had this in your mind's eye for your whole life, because Star
Mhm.
Wars came out when I was 4, and I know I'm probably older than
Yeah,
you all, so it's been there my whole life, and,
yeah,
but you've never had the opportunity to see this, like, full
yeah,
scale. You're standing under the Falcon, I
yeah,
had the toy, the little toy, and it was always playing,
yeah.
as a kid, but then, I came face to face with the Falcon when I turned that corner for the first time. I was like, "Holy cow." Like, I just
Oh,
can't
yeah,
like, I'm
it's
like, "I can't believe
incredible.
it." Unreal, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was amazing, and thankfully, we were lucky too. Because what the kids do know, they like R2-D2 and BB-8, right? Like, those characters are the best. They haven't seen the movies, but everybody knows them,
Yeah,
and they know Rey, and they know the stormtroopers, and so when we walked around the corner, R2-D2 was there, and so they got to go and talk to him, and they loved that, and then they got to talk to Rey, and she was great. And I was asking her if something was going on between her and Kylo, but she was pretty cagey and she didn't want to say. She was so good. I was like, "So what's happening there?" And she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
it was like with that weird Romeo and Juliet scene at the end of Rise of Skywalker, like, fish,
Yes.
fish, dead, dead, I don't know what's going on there.
It was pretty, yeah, it was pretty cute. And then my daughters picked up on that and started bugging her. They're like, "Do you love Kylo?" So she was great with them. It was really fun. And then the stormtroopers came out at one point too, and my daughter talked to them and they talked right at her. And we got an amazing picture of her turning around looking like, they're talking to me. And so that was fun. And we did do the rides. We haven't mentioned Genie Plus, but we bought the individual lightning lanes for Rise because my son was too small. So we were like, we're not going to make him wait in line for 2 hours for
Right,
a ride that he cannot ride and then do parent swap. Like he would have lost it. So
right.
we thought we'll just buy it. And I didn't think my daughters would want to go, but they were like, "Well, you have to buy one for us too." And I was like, "No, that's $80." And
Yeah,
they're like, "You've
seriously.
been talking about this ride for like a year and a half and making us watch YouTube videos. Like we're going on the ride." It's like,
I tell
oh
you,
darn.
sweetheart, this is not the ride you're looking for. You
Yes,
got to
exactly.
use Jedi
Not
mind
the
tricks,
ride.
the force chokes, or whatever you gotta use
Yeah.
at this point.
None
It's
of
too
it panned
expensive.
out. No, $80 later, they rode with their dad. I wanted him to have like the first experience. So they rode with him. They really loved it. And then they got to ride again with me because of
Right.
parent swap.
I
So they
know,
got
it's
to go
the best thing
twice.
ever for kids. The
Yeah.
parent swap
I
is
know. I
just,
was
like,
like, this is not fair. And
ridiculous.
then they're
Yeah.
telling me everything, right? They're like, no, mommy, this isn't, no, 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 wait, just wait, stand over here. And I was like, shh.
Stop. It's me.
So that was fun. And they loved it. I was worried they'd be scared, but they totally loved it. So that was really awesome. So we did get to do that. And that was the only time we used the individual lightning lane, I think. We went on the Spider-Man ride, which is the ride that had it in DCA. But since he could go on that ride, we're like, we'll just put up with it and wait the 90 minutes.
What do you think? So you're talking Web Slingers? Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
web slinger.
see, I'm not a Marvel guy. I've never seen any Marvel movies, but Ricky swears that I love this ride. She says, "You're gonna love it." She's like, you do all, you shoot the
It's pretty
webs.
fun.
You think it's pretty fun? I mean,
It
Ricky,
was really
I'm
fun.
gonna give it a shot. I mean, I'm gonna do everything. We're
Yeah.
gonna be out there for 5 days, so
So here's a tip. So what we thought we were so smart. So we rope dropped DCA in order to get to web slingers fast. And we went in the back way through like the Hollywood part. And we thought, oh, we're going to be able to get right there. And we were so clever. And so they rope dropped and we ran around and we were right there and it wasn't open yet. But apparently they formed the line going in the other direction.
yeah,
And so even though we were there, the line starts here, guy was all the way on the other side. And so we ended up being in line for like 90 minutes, even though we were there right away. So you have to go down the normal area. You can't backdoor it like we tried to do.
good tip
But
because I would
it's
totally
really
do
fun.
that. I
Yes,
would totally
I
like
thought this
to
was so
figure it out.
brilliant. I was like, I know my way around this park. Like, I know a quicker way to get there. Don't go with the
No,
masses. Like,
and
it's
that's what I'd be
cool.
telling my wife. I'd be like, "I got this all figured out. Look, we're going the other way. Look, this is you
Exactly.
always zig when everybody
Exactly.
else is
I was so
zagging."
proud of
We were
myself.
there,
Yeah.
I'd be catching it for the whole 90 minutes. Like, yeah, this
Yeah.
is so
Yeah.
fast, Mike.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yep, that's exactly what happened. And my kids, one of the kids, of course, had to go to the bathroom. So we split up. My husband took them. So then he's looking for us at the front. And I'm trying to text him, be like, we're at the back. And he's like, what are you doing back here? And I was like, just let it go. So
He's
that
like,
was
you're
kind of
frozen. Where you at?
yes, exactly. So but it was really fun. I think it's a great family ride. Because my son could do it, and it's so fun. He still talks about it. He thinks that he helped Spider-Man save the world. Like it's so fun. So I think you'll like it. It's cute. It's nothing like amazing. I think similar to how they did the Millennium Falcon ride, and then Rise was really the kind of showstopper.
Yeah.
I've heard inklings that this is sort of the first ride, and then there's supposed to be something with the Quinjet opening that's going to be the like headliner. But it's really fun. It's very fun.
And
It might be worth it to watch a movie beforehand, but
I know.
I know
I
you don't
was
have time.
well, I know, and the thing was too, like I swore I was gonna watch Guardians of the Galaxy before I went down for that media event for the
Yes.
coaster. I never did.
You like 80s music, you would love it.
No, I
Guardians of the
do.
Galaxy is awesome.
The thing that plays in my car is 80s on 8 and
Oh, you
the
should
80s
watch that one.
arcade.
I know this never works. I know people tell you all the time, but you have a long flight and a layover,
I
and so you
do. I
have
do.
time to watch some movies.
I know, but if there's sports on and it's a Saturday, I'm a terrible sports guy. I have to watch sport. Yeah, but I am
That's
going
true.
to. I mean, I eventually I'm going to catch up, but I promise. I got to ask you this. 'Cause I want to get all this
Guardians
in.
ride.
So,
Oh, yeah.
wait, but okay. So you mentioned you've spent time in DCA and Disneyland.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
I've heard this from some people, and I still can't believe it. Scott is one of the people. Ricky too.
Yes.
They say that they might. Scott definitely does prefer. He says DCA to Disneyland. He says DCA
Mm,
is his favorite theme park
I
of
know. I've
any
heard him.
US-based theme park. What about
Yes.
you? Because I still haven't been. Again, this is a little bit early before we go. I still can't get my head around that I would walk out of this place after this week that we're
Yeah.
going to be there. The Disneyland would not just top all because the density of attractions, the history, like the whole package, right? It's got
Yeah.
pirates, but it's got the best pirates from what everybody says, and I'm sure I'm going to agree.
Mhm.
It's got New Orleans Square with that haunted mansion, and it's got the Blue Bayou, and all that.
Yeah.
It's got so much. I mean, but then he's like, DCA is where it's at. Right? So what would your take be on that? If you were going to kind of comment to his comment there, what would you say?
Yeah. I would say that's a reasonable thing. Like I don't think they're so misweighted that it's like, "Oh, that's nuts." I don't know if I would say it's my favorite. I think I'm pretty torn. But I like them both. I think DCA has more rides that we like because it has a little bit more of the fun rides. Like the Guardian ride is just so much fun. And my kids even do that one. And we're kind of like Disney weirdos because I don't like pirates and I don't like Haunted Mansion.
Oh
I'm
my
pretty sure you're not allowed to say these things.
We're not giving out her Instagram
I
or
know. I'm
Twitter.
so
We're not
sorry.
giving
I'm
out
so
any
sorry.
socials.
Like pirates is just bizarre. They're like hurting people. There's like fire everywhere. I went with my daughter when she was little and I was like, don't look at any of this. Like they're like pillaging these things. Like I just thought, like, why does everyone love this? This is so
These are
strange.
very bad people.
Yeah. I know that's really weird. And then the Haunted Mansion, we've only done it once, and it was when it had the Christmas overlay. And I was like, this is so scary. Like, I know people love that movie, but it kind of scared me as a kid. And I was just like, this ride is terrifying. Like,
Yeah, no,
so
I
we're
agree.
like very bad
Yeah, that movie's
Disney
weird.
people.
I know some people love Nightmare Before Christmas. I've never seen it all the way through because I just think it's weird. Like
It's
Pam
weird. I
Forster's
don't like
daughter
weird.
Hannah is obsessed with Jack Skellington
Yeah.
and all that. It's
Oh,
just weird looking to me, like the style. I
yeah.
know it's a style, but it's
Yes,
my
like the
jam.
Tim Burton style, I
So
find it freaky. It weirds me
me
out. I
too,
don't
me
like
too.
it.
I can't do
I'm
it.
really sorry, guys. You know what I do like? I love every documentary about those rides.
Right,
They're amazing. Like everything inside the Haunted Mansion is phenomenal. The
right.
lady, her head, like I love it. It's amazing. From a technology point of view, amazing. Actually riding it, not a fan. I would rather watch a documentary about it than ride it. I'm sorry. That's my
This
hot take.
Right, and this is why I love this podcast, man. We've been doing this over 2,000 episodes. You never know what you're going to get, especially on Monday. This is the best. This is what I love. Okay, so back to the trip though. So let
Yeah.
me ask you though. We haven't really talked a whole lot about dining. Okay, so you had
Oh,
3 kids. I would imagine it's
yeah.
mostly snacking, quick counter service type stuff. I mean, I've
Yeah.
been there, right? You don't want to sit down too long. It's just when you're asking for trouble. But it looks like
Yes.
you did go to Lamplight Lounge. I mean, so
We
that's
did. We went there. I was so glad to get a reservation there because we tried last time and we didn't get one. So that place was awesome. So This trip was sort of different. In the past, we've eaten at Blue Bayou. That is awesome. I really hope you're getting to go there.
We
It's
that
so cool.
hot take, that's our last meal on our last day.
Oh
We're eating
boy.
there, like, at 4 o'clock on our last day so we can have
Yep.
dinner and then have about 5 hours after to just
Oh,
cruise
perfect.
down the park. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yeah.
That's the plan.
It's awesome. It's so cool. So that place was great. But for this trip, because the kiddos hadn't been vaccinated, we thought, okay, well, we made a rule as a family, we'll only eat outdoors. And so
Mhm.
that really limited where we could eat, which was kind of a bummer. But we did eat outside at New Orleans Square at one of the restaurants. We ate there once or twice. It was really good. I liked that. They were really friendly. And then we ate at the Trattoria, Wine Country Trattoria in DCA. And that was great too. And I ordered a fun drink, like just for fun. And we don't really drink, and it had tequila. And then mommy was really dizzy, and the kids found that highly entertaining. I was like, oh no.
That's, that hits close to home because when I'm at home, I never have a drink, but when we go on cruises and we go on
Yeah,
vacation, I'll have a
exactly.
margarita or 2 sometimes with
Yeah.
my buddy Scott, and it's hilarious because,
I was like, oh, this
everyone
is
says, "It
fun.
doesn't take much to get Mike happy," and it I'm just saying.
Yes, that is exactly what happened. I was like, "Oh, that sounds really yummy." It was some kind of yummy thing. I thought, "Oh, sure, I'll try that." And then it was like, "Nope, that did not nope, that was not smart." But that was a great meal. Lamplight Lounge was great. The Lamplight Lounge is just a beautiful place to eat because if you can get a place out on the water to sit, you see the wheel behind you and you see the Incredicoaster. So that was really great. So that was quite fun.
That is awesome. We have a spammer in the live chat, but
I
we're not gonna
know.
post those up so nobody will see them, and so just, ignore that because I can't get rid of that right now for some reason, but, we're gonna continue on because this is the audio podcast. Thank goodness we're an audio show and nobody's watching the video. But yeah, so what kind of snacks would you recommend, especially with kids? Because I think a lot of people are traveling with families and they wonder, like, because some things like you're going, especially with like you're on the go, right? I mean, and I think
Mhm.
Disneyland lends itself, like as I've heard, like churros and corn dogs. Those are
Yep.
great to walk around the parks, just and kids,
Yeah.
everybody loves those things. I mean, what was there any like secret kind of things that you enjoyed, or what'd you think?
So one tip I would give is there's schmoozies, which is like a milkshake and like smoothie bar in DCA, and they had this really special drink for Christmas that was like quite tall, like a full size cup, and a big like whipped cream on top, and two Oreos to look like Mickey ears. Okay, and both of my kids wanted one; they would not share, and
Oh.
they did not get past the line of the cup. Like they literally only got through the piece that was overflow, and then the rest went in the garbage. And I was like, I told you, children, they just couldn't. It's just so much, and it's clearly designed for Instagram.
Yes.
Beautiful. You could never consume this. So I recommend being wise and like sharing, and realizing. I mean, we got some adorable pictures with it,
Oh,
but
sure.
after that, it went in the garbage. It was pretty funny. So that you got to be careful with what's for Instagram and what's for actual human consumption. We did eat the churros. The churros are great. I know people have told you the cones, the like at the Cozy Cone Motel,
Yes.
all the different cone foods. Those are really fun to get something at. And then my favorite is just like the standard Mickey pretzel. I love the Mickey pretzel. I mean, I get that all the time. You can get it in Tomorrowland at Disneyland Park, and that was my favorite snack. I got one the last night, and I just sat there, munching with the kids on our pretzels, and that's my favorite snack. But
That's
yeah, the food is the great. I know you're gonna do Bengal barbecue. That place is everyone raves about that, but we pretty much just live off like Dole Whip and pretzels and churros. That's
Well,
it.
here's the good news. When you travel with Scott Gardner, my good buddy, my brother from another mother, like you always eat well. Like
Oh
he knows the places to go, and he's been to Disneyland multiple times. So I'm in
yeah.
good hands. Like I'm in terrible hands actually. I'm gonna come home and have gained 30
Mhm.
pounds in 7 days. It's gonna be
Gonna be
horrible.
worth it. It's
But
gonna
I'm
be
gonna
so
have lots
great.
to drink. I'm gonna be broke and overweight when I get home, but it's gonna be worth it. I mean, it's gonna be
Totally worth it. It'll be great.
nuts. But okay, a couple of things though. You mentioned Genie Plus though in the lightning lanes. Did you
Yeah.
use it? Did you use it as far as because people say that, and I can see it because I've already been like looking in strategies and stuff that it would be more beneficial at Disneyland, a lot easier to use at
Mhm.
Disneyland probably than Walt Disney World. Did you
Mhm.
find that just using it for regular lightning lanes, not just purchasing individual lightning lanes? Did you use it that way, and how'd that work for you guys?
Yeah, I know people have said that, and of course, we don't have the Disney World experience to compare to, but I did really like it. So what we did was we bought it only for 2 days. We didn't buy it our first day because we knew we'd be going back to the hotel. We wanted a midday break. I didn't want to have to stress, whatever the kids, if they said, "Oh, I want to go there." I wanted to be like, "Yeah, let's go there," and just do whatever. So then the next day we thought, "Okay, today we really want to hit these, a bunch of rides that we are excited about. We're gonna like go really hard." So we got Disney Genie Plus that day. Then we didn't the next day. So I really like that ability to kind of get it when you need it. I think it was great. It was basically just like the Fast Pass Plus
Right.
that they used to have out there when you could do it on your phone, because that's all we'd ever done. We'd never done the ticket ones. Um, so that was great. And then with the photos, you get your photos. We sought out all the PhotoPass photographers. They have the great magic pictures now, like in Star Wars Land. You can get one with like fighter jets behind you to make it look like you're actually fighting.
Yes.
There is like with the resistance. Yeah, it's so fun. We got ones with the kids holding Chip in their hand, and that's all included if you get. So we made sure that the days we bought Genie Plus, we also took a bunch of family photos. So we just kind of like maximized it that way. And I think it was great. The only challenge we had with it was one of the days we met up with our friends who are locals, and they have annual passes, and they were like, "Oh, we don't, no, we don't use that. Like, why would we pay for something?" And I
Right.
was like, "Oh, shoot." Cause we wanted to ride all the rides with them. So we were like, "Oh, I guess we just won't use this thing. Okay."
And
So
yeah,
that was sort of a downer.
that is kind of the problem that you run into, especially
Yeah.
nowadays. I mean, when I'm at World and you have friends that are locals now, it's like, because like 5, 10 years ago, it was like, come on over, like just meet me at the Magic Kingdom. Well, I don't have a theme park
Yeah.
reservation for the Magic Kingdom.
Right.
It's like, dang, like back in the day, it
Yes.
was just like, hey, come in, let's have an ice cream on Main Street and just catch up. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you can't get in. It's like, well, then I have to
Yeah.
hop, where the empty park, and then yeah, it's so much to think about. You're right.
There's a lot of complexity.
It
Yeah,
is.
we're going to Disney World for the first time next summer, and I'm already kind of like, "Oh my gosh, there's so many things I have to think about
No,
to
it's
plan so
doable.
many
It's
things."
doable, but it is
Yeah,
something you have to put a lot of time pre-trip into. Then you have a good time once you're there, but it's just you can't, like you said, I mean, if somebody doesn't have Genie Plus, you do. You can't, like you can't go through lightning lanes and they don't,
right.
all this
Exactly, exactly.
it's kind of a
Yeah.
mess. So, okay, let me uh, another thing I want to ask you about too was just about the kids as far as what do they talk about now that you're back home? You kind of mentioned a couple things, but I mean, I'm sure that they're, especially
Mhm.
since you have, the kids all getting together and they probably talk about this trip still. Like, what are the memories that it's funny what kids remember? Because sometimes, like, you think
Yeah.
they remember like the big ride on Rise, and it's like
Right.
really obscure thing that happened, like where they spilled an ice cream on day 3 of the trip.
Yes.
Like, you're like, I don't even remember that happening. So, I
Yeah.
mean, is there anything like that really stood out to them, and might maybe surprised you?
So a couple things really stood out to them from our very first trip. Their favorite part is the headboard at Disneyland Hotel. I'm sure you've heard about
Oh
this
yeah.
headboard. Yeah, it has the fireworks and it plays like a little tinkly version of A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes. And we're actually going back in October and we're staying at the Grand Californian. And they're like, "No, we don't want to stay there." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't want to stay there?" And they're like, "It doesn't have the headboard," right? Like this is all that matters. So that headboard, that's like all they care about. It's pretty adorable. So that stood out. We still talk about my son's experience. So he was 2, and he had a bit of a speech delay, but he could say Diddy, and that was how he said Disney. So leading up to the trip, every toy that had the little D in the plastic, he'd say Diddy, Diddy, and we were like, "We're gonna go there, we're gonna go there." And the first day we get there, and he says Diddy, like he sees the sign, he knows we're there. So fun. And then the third day, we push him into the park, and we have 5 days of park hoppers. And as soon as he sees it, he says, "No more Diddy." he was he was so exhausted, and he was like, "I'm done." And I was like, "No, no, like we're here." And so my husband thought, well, let's take him back to the room for a nap. So he took him back to the room, but we were staying at the Disneyland Hotel. He turned on the TV, which opens with that beautiful Disney, and my son just starts crying, saying, "No more Diddy."
Kitties everywhere.
Yes. So he was exhausted. It was so cute. And then, of course, by our last night, like literally, we have half an hour until we're leaving. And he says, "More Diddy?" And I
Of
was like,
course.
"No, like now we don't have time for more Disney."
If you're not a parent, I'm telling you that's how it goes every single time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's every time.
So we all remember that. That was too funny. We never expected him to burn out so quickly on it. I mean, it's of course, like you said, it's like a sensory overload, but still didn't expect that. And then for my daughter, it's Bing Bongs. That's She loves that place and still thinks about that. I think too, they're kind of like me, where they're just like, so when are we gonna go back? I'm like, yeah, I know, right?
I know, but when I get down there, I'm gonna put a picture on Instagram for your family in front of Bing Bongs. I've never heard of it, so
Yeah, I know
this
it's not a big thing. Yeah, totally.
this is awesome. Though. I'll
Go to
have the
Bing
connection
Bongs.
to your family, so watch when I'm down
Yes,
there. I'm gonna
I
put a
will
picture.
definitely. I follow you. I will
I'll,
look
okay,
forward to
good. And
that.
I'll send it to your family and Bing Bongs. Okay, that just sounds hilarious. I just like the Bing Bongs. That just sounds great. So much fun. Okay, we
He's a
run that.
character, right? And he cries candy. So at the place, there's a giant thing of him with all this candy shooting out of his eyes. It's yeah.
And it's from Inside Out, you said? Okay, I'll have to
Yeah,
check that out.
he's what the girl imagined. So he smells like cotton candy. He has like a trunk like an elephant. He's a very funny character.
Sounds like my kind of guy. All right, I'll have to
Yeah,
check that
I
out.
know.
Okay. So we're just about out of time, but man, what a trip! I hope I have half the fun you guys had. Your crew sounds like I want to hang with your crew. You guys sound like
We're
you
pretty
guys know what
cool.
you're doing. Now, you mentioned Run Disney though. You signed up for any races coming up in the next season?
I didn't, because we're going to do the BOGP podcast cruise.
Okay,
So
yes,
I was like,
yes.
oh, I can't fly across the country twice.
No,
But I'm already
that's true.
mentally preparing to do Marathon 2024.
Yes.
I'm getting there mentally. I've only ever done half marathons, so I'm nervous. I heard you and Scott talking about today and where to go. Like, I was listening to the show and people were talking about which park to go after. I'm like, which park to go after? I'm certain that I will collapse and not move for 3 days. Like, how do people do this? So I'm nervous.
It's insane because 26 miles it's brutal. It is, but the thing is, like when you finish though, you think you are Superman, Superwoman. It's
Yes,
ridiculous. You're like,
I'm super
holy
excited.
cow, I just completed a marathon. But when it hits like 4 or 5 o'clock that evening, you are toast. I mean,
Oh, I'm
if you're on a
sure.
high,
Like,
you got to take advantage of like that high. The biggest trick is don't take a nap. Like, don't say, okay, I'm done at 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm just gonna go back and
yes.
take a nap until like 2. You are done. You're not getting up
Yeah.
till Monday if you do that. So don't, yeah, and you'll be
Okay,
locked
that
up for
totally
midnight
makes
cruising.
sense.
Oh yeah, but oh my gosh, a marathon, that'll be, yeah, I'll be there. And
Yes.
I've said this 100 times on the show. There is nothing cooler than seeing somebody cross a marathon finish line for the first time because it
Yeah.
literally changes your life. I mean, I still can't believe I finished a marathon because of Mike Bankhead telling me how he did his. Like,
Yeah.
it's just it's crazy. Like 26 miles is so
Oh,
far.
yeah, I
It's
never would have
doable,
thought
but
I
it's
would do
crazy.
that. Yeah, like, our family has a historical lack of exercise. My mom's favorite line when I was a kid was she used to say, "Whenever I get the urge to exercise, I just lay down until the feeling goes away." That was, like, her line. So when I started running, my whole family was like, "You? What? Why?" And I've actually never done a real Disney race. I've only done the virtuals. So, like, my last half marathon was the virtual princess alone on a trail. And so this will be my first time doing a real Run Disney, so I'm really
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, you will love it, and everybody's out there cheering you on, the lizards. It's
Yay!
amazing. And let me just ask you though, because we're recording this on the day that the Disney Wish had its christening
Yes.
and is going
Yep.
on its inaugural cruise, which I mean, I'm going to, who am I to talk? I'm going to Disneyland in 3 days as we're recording.
Yep.
But Pam Forrester is sailing the
Mhm.
Disney Wish right now. I mean, she
I
owns the
know.
company, so she gets to do cool stuff.
She
But I
gets to
mean,
do.
did you see any of the coverage? I mean, because we're sailing this baby,
I
and
did. Yeah, I did watch some of the christening, and I'm super excited. I love the kids area, looks amazing.
yeah, it does. I
So,
want to go
yeah.
into the slide, like to shoot down that
I
slide.
know, me too.
Dude, I want to ride
Well,
the slide.
I heard one of the people say, "And don't worry, parents, if you don't want to take the slide, there's stairs." So that to me sounds like you can take
Yeah,
the
that's
slide.
what I'm
'Cause I'm like,
saying.
yes, I want to take the slide. Like, why would
Yeah.
I
Dude, after mixology, Scott and I'll be fighting over the slide. Well, our kids aren't even old enough to go to the kids club anymore. But I was
not? Just
like,
keep going.
I'm not gonna borrow a kid because my kid's in 5. Like
Yes.
did you? The other thing I saw was at the Star Wars bar. I mean, oh,
Yeah. That looks
it's gonna
awesome.
be fun.
And the Star Wars place for kids too, with all
Yes,
the creatures. My daughter will love that. She bought all these weird creatures when we were there. She bought the like something that looks like a loth cat, maybe a rat. It looks like a rat. And she was like, "Oh, it's so cute." I was like, "Okay." So
What?
she's very excited.
we're talking about the star of the show right there. Well, hey, you know what? We got to wrap it up anyway. But
Can you just
I
look
thank
at
the
me?
family for giving us your time to come on the show today. And Jenna, I sure appreciate it. What a great way to start the week. And it's going to be
Yes.
fun sailing with your crew
Can
here in a
you
year.
just look
Remember, tell the family, Bing Bong selfie coming your way.
Yes, I will tell the kids. They'll love that.
All right. Thanks, Jenna. I appreciate your time. And you
Thanks so much,
guys
Mike. Have a
have a
great
good week.
day. Have fun
All
in your trip.
right. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon. All right, don't forget today's show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out today for all your Disney trip planning needs. They're over at themagicforless.com. They'll help you plan that perfect Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney vacation. The agents are standing by right now. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. We really appreciate that. That helps support the show. And a huge shout out to our patrons. You guys allow us to put this podcast out 3 to 4 times a week all around the world. Could not do this without you. And our patrons get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. So come on over, support us, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give me a follow on social media. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at beourguestmike. And if you look back, you can see all the photos, videos, all the fun that we had out at Disneyland over the past week. And if you really want to kind of just look everything up at once, look at the hashtag BOGP at DL. So check that out, BOGP ATDL, and all the photos and information are there. And we are going to be live again this Sunday night. So plan for that Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central on Facebook and YouTube. It's going to be you, me, and Scotty G. We'll be taking your calls and talking Disney. All right, time to get out of here and let you get on with your week. But thanks for starting another week with us here on the show. We sure appreciate you. And we'll be back again on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. So until we get together again, for Jenna, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Monday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Hey, what's up?
Oh, hi. Are we?
I just muted because I didn't know what was. I didn't want to.
I know. I'm so sorry.
No,
she was yelling through the window, like, "Is it happening?" This is one of the kids I'm talking about.
Oh, who's this?
What's one of my medals? This is Laura.
Hey, Laura.
Say
Did
hi,
you just hi? Did you just run that race? Is that why you got that medal?
Did you just run a half marathon, babe?
Or did you steal it?
Lies.
So now, are you the person who likes bing bongs?
No, she's not the bing bong girl. Grace, where's Gracie?
She's up there being a Rudy Pants.
Oh, Gracie's the bing bong girl. What's your favorite memory from the Disneyland trip?
Yes.
Which one?
From the trip we just had, like the most recent
one. Just real quick, can she hear me, or no?
No,
she can't hear me.
I can make her hear you.
Okay,
I think. Okay, let's try that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to Disneyland. I've never been to Disneyland. So I need to know, like, tell me what do I need to make sure I do? Because you were just there. You're the expert. I'm not. And I do this for a living. So you tell me what I need to do. What I need to do at Disneyland.
2 things.
Okay. Writing them down. I got my iPad and my pencil here, so I'm ready.
You have to go to Grizzly
River Run.
Grizzly River Run.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
At night.
Oh, I love night rides.
Really, really cold.
Okay. Grizzly River Run at night. Okay, River Run night. Okay, got that. Okay, what's the second thing?
Okay. The second thing is when you have to go to, like, where's that place where there was that guy in the building we were bowing down to him?
Oh, in Marvel Land, Loki was there. I don't know if you know Loki.
I've seen him on social media. Yeah, okay, I've seen him on social media. I don't know exactly what it's.
If you go to Marvel Land, and then Loki will be on the big building, and then you bow.
Okay, I will do that, and I'm going to post the pictures. So you have to see. This is what I'm talking about, Jenna. This kind of stuff. You're like, wait, what?
I know. I totally forgot. He asked what things you guys remembered about the trip. They loved Grizzly. So we were there in January. It was freezing. No, literally no one was on the ride. So we just walked on. It won't be a walk on.
Yeah, it'll be probably hot. No, it's not gonna be hot, but it'll be comfortable while we're there.
Yeah. So we did it twice in a row. Like they just let us stay on. And it is creepy at night. You go through this cave.
Oh yeah.
And we were soaked and freezing.
And there's this big, like, echoing bear growl all around.
Yes, that sounds like my kind of ride because I'm from Missouri. Yeah. We have bears.
So, there you go. It was scary.
You guys have bears up there too, I'm sure.
Yeah, we do.
You go on like this carved mountain under the cave at one point, and like I saw like there was this crash canoe, but then what was really scary was that there was this guy going to do his shift on like this water fountain thing, and he fell down or something, and it looked like he was a dead guy.
She
Oh,
saw a cast member going through the like back doors and stuff,
right.
and she's like, "Mom, I swear there's someone on the mountain." I was
Oh
like,
man. I
"No."
don't need, I don't need that scary. Scary
Yes.
little, I don't need all that. So, hey, so we're going to be sailing together next summer, right? On the that new,
Wait, what?
Yeah, I told you it's with these people.
yeah, we're all cruising together on that new ship that
Yeah.
came out today. So you got to
Won't that
look
be
at some of the
awesome?
pictures. We're gonna have
So
so much
awesome.
fun because we're gonna do so many cool things. And I used to be a school teacher. I taught sixth grade.
Yeah.
So you guys are gonna have an awesome time, just as much time as the parents. So I promise.
Mhm.
We're gonna have a great time sailing with Mickey and Minnie. It's gonna be fun.
Yay!
Yay! I'm so
It's
excited.
gonna be a blast. Well, hey, it was great meeting you. It's so good to meet you, and thanks for. I'm gonna do Grizzly River Run. I can at night. I'm gonna be. I'll
You're gonna
be
be brave.
freezing and scared, but it's gonna be fun. All right. Well, you guys
Well,
have a
thanks
good
so
night.
much,
And I
Mike.
hope you feel better, and
Yeah,
I hope
thanks.
hope everybody hangs in there and it just passes quickly because I know
Oh, yeah, you don't have my mask on and you're in the room. Shoot. Oh,
yeah.
well.
I mean,
Oh, totally forgot. Okay, well, thank you.
my bad. All right, you guys take care. If you need anything, just
Thanks,
give me
Mike.
a
Have a
holler.
great trip.
Hey,
Bye.
I'll
Sounds
talk to you
good.
guys. Nice meeting you. It's very good to meet you. Thanks for the tips. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Tell your sisters and brothers. Bye. All right. Bye bye.
Bye, Mike.
Bye.
It's like multiple people